Page 403, taking the result as the path. Inexpressible by another, co-emergence is not found anywhere and needs to be known by resorting to the means of the time of the master, and from one's merit. To reach the citadel of Buddhahood in a single lifetime, it's necessary to realize nature of mind, convergent primordial awareness. That cannot be presented by any scripture, reasoning, or logic. It is taught. Free from color, written words, qualities, and examples, it cannot be spoken of and only vaguely indicated. And I, Tilopa, have nothing to present, show it to yourself and understand. Not alone cannot be described, but whatever its soft environment and its inhabitants outside and inside one's body. Beginning with the flesh, blood, and internal organs to external mountains and fences, the mind cannot be found because it's not even slightly established with a color, shape, and form. In that case, one might ask, is there no means for realizing it? That is, it is taught, is to be known by resorting to the means of the time of the master and from one's merit. The nature of the mind will be realized on the basis of the means, which is devotion to the master and accumulation of the assembly of merit. It is taught, as long as the roots of merit have not been totally completed, that excellent emptiness will not be realized. The foremost method for accumulation of merit is to supplicate the master. The glorious Guhya Samaja says, just to message with the oil a single pour of the skin of the Vajra, master is exceptionally great merit, even more than honoring Buddhas and Bodhisattvas equal in number to the grains of sand in the Ganges River, for aeons equal in number to the grains of sand in Ganges River. The reason for this is that if all of the sources for accumulating merit are collected together, they are included in the three jewels. And these are all complete in the master whose body is the essence of the Sangha, whose speech is the essence of the excellent Dharma, and whose mind is the essence of Buddha. Similarly, all the dates of complete three seats are included in the master, whose five aggregates are the five conquerors, whose four elements with extremely pure great bliss is 50, and the five motors, whose internal sensory bases such as the eyes are the bodhisattvas, whose external sensory bases such as form are the six goddesses, and whose 8 great giants and so forth are the 10 wrathful beings. For the benefit of those with lesser good fortune such as ourselves, he displays the form of the aggregates, the constituents, the sensory bases, it's thought. Why did Vajrasattva himself take the form of a teacher? Intent upon the goal of transcendent beings, he displayed an ordinary form. Therefore, the Guhya Samaja says, abandon all other offerings and begin perfect offerings to the Master. Pleasing him, one will attain to the supreme primordial awareness, an omniscient one. Because it's sufficient to practice the best method and discard the inferior methods, if the offerings to the circle of the mandala and offerings to the gods, spirits, and so forth are abandoned, and one is diligent in offers to the Master at all times and informs the primordial awareness of an omniscient one, the citadel of perfect Buddhahood will be reached. Nagarjuna mentions the reason. If someone falls from the peak of Mount Meru, even though they think they will not fall, they will fall. If beneficial transmission is obtained by the kindness of the Master, even though one thinks one will not be liberated, or one will be liberated. In that case, one might wonder, is a long period needed to reach that attainment? No, the Sankarya, an explanatory tantra of the Kakrasamvara, teaches, I bow to the lotus beneath the feet of the Vajra Master whose body is like a jewel, and by whose kindness great bliss arises in a single instant. By the kindness of that Master, the co-emergence primordial awareness of great bliss arises in an instant. For example, a wish-fulfilling jewel is the most exceptional thing in the world, but if it only able to grant happiness and joy in this life, cannot grant even the liberations of the Sarvaka and particular next life, it goes without saying that it cannot be grant the citadel of Vajra holder on the 13th spiritual level. In contrast, the Master is able to bestow such a citadel in this lifetime and at other times. So often the world may be greater than a wish-fulfilling gem. As an example, but the Master is even more exceptional than that. Similarly, Samvaradaya says, the Master is the Buddha, the Master is Dharma, and likewise the Master is the Sangha, the Master is the creator of everything, the Master is the glory of Heruka. The Samputa says, learn these inner divisions directly from Master. Mantra and attainments cannot be accomplished from sentient beings who are less than Masters. The Vajrapanjara says, displaying as a teacher he is prostrated to by the Buddhas. Know this one to be greater than our father and mother. In that case, one might think, is the Master greater than even those chosen deities, Buddhas, and so forth? The Master and the Buddhas are no different in terms of renunciation and realization, but the Master is great in terms of kindness. Although Buddhas equal to the number of atoms in the universe reside upon a single dust mote, at this time when much bad karma has been accumulated, we do not have the good fortune to actually see their bodies. We do not actually hear the speech. Due to this situation, it's not possible for the primordial awareness of their minds to precisely enter us. Because the master displays a form corresponding to our good fortune, we actually see his body here and practice the dharma he teaches. Gradually cleanse the two obscurations, gradually complete the two assemblies, and are able to reach the citadel of Buddhahood. For example, even if the three conditions of a cloudless sky, hot sunlight, and dry tinder are present, if one does not have something like a fire crystal or a mirror to focus light, no matter how hot the sun is, it will be able to start a fire in the tinder. When the light is focused with something like a crystal, a fire will start in just an instant. Similar, no matter how great the compassion of the Buddhas, it is not possible for the primordial awareness to actually enter into sentient beings whose mind streams had not been purified. By offering supplication to the Master as the embodiment of all Buddhas, the blessings enter quickly. With this in mind, Lord Sakya Pandita says, even social beings are very hot, without a fire crystal, fire will not occur. Similarly, without the Master, the blessings of Buddhas will not occur. Not only is explained in that way in the scriptures of the Vajrayana, it is also taught in the vehicle of the perfections. The condensed verses on that perfections of wisdom says, the conquerors, sublimely in love with all good qualities have taught. The Buddha and the Dharma dependent spiritual friend. And also always rely on spirit masters. If you ask why, it's because an expert's good qualities comes from that. And also, as groups of the sick rely on a physician to be healed, so rely without distraction on a spiritual friend. And the Sutra of the Salty River teaches, when the final 500-year period occurs, I will take the form of the teacher, think that he is me, and awake in devotion to him at that time. Similar to this is often said in all the sutras and tantas, also thus commented upon the authentic commentators in few words but with extensive meaning. The Lord of Yogin says, the profound path of the Master. Vajraganta says, I will explain the stages of the blessings concealed in the Kakrasamvara, which arises in an instant by just the blessing of the Master. Saraha says, when what the Master has said enters the heart, is like a seen treasure resting in the palm of the hand. In brief, all the authentic realized experts who have appeared in India and Tibet have unanimously said this. In the Vajrayana tradition, the awakening of meditative concentration that had not yet arisen, the enhancement of what has arisen, the removal of impediments, and the stabilizing of meditative concentration all depends solely on the Guru Yoga. Even at the point when the citadel of the ultimate and perfect Buddhahood has been actualized, to not abandon the Master is maintained as a sacred commitment of primordial awareness, and so forth. In brief, the Master is thought to be the foremost during all of those calls. The path, the result, thus my Master taught. Page 409, taking the result as path.